Good morning, everyone. I can see that we still have some comments from last week's 8 for 8. This is Al Rodee, and this is 8 for 8, and it's 8 o'clock Eastern Time on a Monday morning. It happens to be Memorial Day in the United States. I hope that the sound and the camera are okay. Paul might confirm that for me. It's always wonderful to know that Paul's on the other end of this broadcast. It's a beautiful day in downtown rainy Halifax. It just started to rain, but the weekend was gorgeous. I got a chance to build a tree house for my son, and he's excited about that. I can't keep him off it, even though I haven't put the railings up yet. And that was all fun. And today happens to be Memorial Day in the United States of America, and I want to talk a little bit about sustainability and how that relates to Memorial Day and how it relates to our veterans and post-traumatic stress disorder. So we've got a lot to talk about in 7 or 8 minutes, including a tapping session. Sustainability. I'm doing a little work with a friend of mine, Wendy Knowles, on the Barrett Values Center training. I highly recommend you look at it. It's about sustainability in business and in personal life. It's based on Maslow's hierarchy of needs, which starts at survival, and there are 7 levels of consciousness, and the first one is survival, and the 7th level is self-actualization, and there are other 5 levels in between there that we work toward, and every level is reflected against the level below it. So that when you're in survival mode, you are keeping a roof over your head, you're making sure you have food. And as you move up, you continue to make sure that you have food and a roof over your head, shelter, but then you begin to create relationship and eventually you find self-love, which is really the path that we're all on, I hope. So how does that relate to post-traumatic stress disorder and Memorial Day in the United States, and we have Veterans Day here in Canada, and every country around the world honors their soldiers and the people who have defended their countries. Now think what you will about war. It's not sustainable, and therefore it threatens the very core, the very bottom level of Maslow's hierarchy of needs. It threatens our survivability. War creates huge environmental impact. We're literally killing each other. We're literally operating out of hate. And so it's not sustainable. Now, those people who go to war on kind of the basic level are soldiers. Most of those people are going out of a sense of duty and valor and courage, and in my humble opinion, just don't understand that the key to survivability is love, gratitude, forgiveness, peace above and beyond all, peace with our environment, peace with our animal friends, peace with nature, peace with people who may look a little different than we do, or think a little bit different than we do, or live in another country, or act different. Peace is sustainable. War is not. So simply, if we are to become closer to our spirit, we need to work to eliminate war. And we need to find those places where war is a huge, ongoing, day-to-day existence in the world. And love those people who are creating that war. Hear me again. Love those people who are creating that war. Those people who have committed genocide. Hitler. Love those people who have created that war. Because love is more powerful than hate. And it's the only thing that can make a change. It's the only thing that can make a difference. Now, I said I was going to talk a little bit about post-traumatic stress disorder. One of the byproducts of war is post-traumatic stress disorder. We all know, if we're on this call, that post-traumatic stress disorder is most effectively treated with emotional freedom technique, with EFT, or some other form of energy psychology that helps release the trauma that's physically stuck in the body, simply by focusing on the problem and tapping on our subtle energy system. And so we have an opportunity to, as lay people, as individuals, to help people with post-traumatic stress disorder. And that can come in a car accident, it can come in a bullying incident at school, it could happen in a robbery or some sort of an argument with someone. Post-traumatic PTSD, it isn't limited to wartime. However, it's the most predominant conversation about those people who are coming back, both in Canada and the United States and anywhere else that's engaged in military operations. People who are coming back having served their country in what I consider to be ill-informed but well-meaning service. I may offend some of you out there. I'm sorry if I do, but this is my humble opinion. That war is, when we commit war, we are ill-informed. We are operating from a non-sustainable place. And the only way to sustain life is to love everything, everyone, including our enemies, and especially our enemies. So that's a lot on one plate for one day. Post-traumatic stress disorder. Today is an opportunity to write your MLA, to write your MP, to write your congressman or your Senate representative, or whatever government system you happen to be operating under. In Australia, I think we're in Parliament, are we not? So write to someone, just write to someone. You know, I write to the Nova Scotia legislature once a week about something about to do with emotional freedom technique. They're really tired of hearing from me, but I'll tell you that eventually somebody's going to start to respond. Every week, I just send a small email off to my MLAs and my MPs. And it doesn't have to be anything major, but it does have to mention emotional freedom technique. And it does have to mention sustainability. And it does have to find a way for them to say yes. And so I urge everyone out there to do something similar to that. And if you're here in Nova Scotia, join me in that email campaign. I'd be happy to have your name on the list. And so I'd like to do a little tapping around now. And we'll start on the karate chop point. I'm just going to lower my camera just a little bit. Somebody complained about my, I don't mean complained, I asked for feedback, and I got feedback that my camera wasn't well set up last week, and it was moving around, and while I do care about that, I'm not going to focus a whole lot of attention on it, just so everybody knows. I'm speaking from the heart, not from the camera. Even though it's easy to be confused when we feel afraid, I love and accept myself deeply and completely. War, argument, fighting comes from fear, comes from defensive reaction. And so I recognize my fear and I forgive myself as I move closer to Spirit and feel the courage that Spirit gives me through love, gratitude, and forgiveness. I have this fear and I love and accept myself deeply and completely. Top of the head. Even though I have this fear, this defensive reaction, I love and forgive myself. Inside the eye, I have this fear, and I love and forgive myself deeply and completely. Outside the eye, I have this fear, oh well, it isn't who I am. I am a bright, shiny light of infinitely creative intelligence, and I love and forgive myself deeply and completely. I am a bright, shiny light of infinitely creative intelligence, and I'm filled with peace and joy. Under the nose. I have this fear. I know Divine Creator is close to me, lives within me and all around me, and I no longer hold this fear as I get closer to loving and accepting myself deeply and completely. I am 51 trillion cells, feeling calm and safe and relaxed and loving of my enemies, or those who would profess to be my enemy. On the collarbone, all of God's children in all their various disguises. I love and accept all of God's children as I love and accept myself. Under the arm. I am filled with peace and joy. I am free of pain and illness. I am blessed with good fortune. My blood and chi are flowing smoothly. Thank you, everyone. This has been 8 for 8. This is Al Rodi. If you're in the United States, enjoy your Memorial Day holiday. And if you're anywhere else, please love and forgive and be grateful for all that you are. Bye. Have a great week. Stay closer to Spirit. This is 8 for 8.